This is the Helpful Lockpicker here, and I have a question for you today. How far have you tried to disassemble your American lock padlock? Today we're going to go over how to fully disassemble your American lock like you see in front of you right now, and we're going to jump right into it, so please stay tuned. Alright, let's get our American lock opened up here. So what I'm going to need to do is take out our key and open up the lock. We're going to need to get the shackle opened in order to do this. So we're going to just turn our key and then we're going to remove the key. Now that the shackle's opened up, we're going to take a look inside. When you look inside, we're going to be able to see a Phillips head screw, which you can see right here. We're going to need to take that out in order to proceed. So we're going to get out our Phillips head screwdriver and we're going to get that screw right out. So once we get that screw out, we're going to have our lock core removed, the front faceplate, the lock nut, and the screw. So this is how far most people usually disassemble their American lock. They typically will just get the lock cylinder out of the body and then they will take the cylinder apart from there. I have other videos on how to take a lock cylinder apart, so we're not going to get into that today, but I want to show you how to get this American lock taken fully apart. So what we're going to want to do is try to get this shackle out. We're going to try to get the ball bearings out from the inside, the actuator, and all of that. So in order to do that, what we're going to need to do is take our shackle and close it right up. When you close up the shackle, it makes it so that you can remove the actuator inside, which you can see right here. So in order to get this actuator out, what we're going to need to do is have our shackle closed. We're going to put pressure on it. Then we're going to bang it against our hand, the table, or sometimes it will just pop out on its own like it did here. And what fell out was the actuator and one of the ball bearings, and then there's the second one. Once both the ball bearings are out, the shackle will come right out, and the only thing left is the spring right in here, and you can just turn it upside down and that will come right out. So the actuator doesn't always come out as easily as it did today. Sometimes you're going to need to hold down that shackle and really bang the lock against the table a couple times to get it out. But this is the step to get your lock fully disassembled. So you can see here that we have the lock body fully disassembled, and then we have our actuator, and each slot where the actuator is, this is where the ball bearings will lie when you go to pull the shackle open. You can see that. The ball bearings also lie in between the shackle here when it is holding it closed, just like that. This is the spring that's used when you turn the key over and the shackle pops up. Here's the lock cylinder that you're very familiar with, and the front faceplate, the locking nut, the screw, and the key. So let's get this put back together right now. Alright, so I'm going to start trying to reassemble the lock body. The first thing we're going to need to do is identify which hole on the top here is the deeper hole. You can see the one on the right is pretty shallow looking, and the deeper one is very clearly on the left. So what we're going to need to do is take our spring and place it into the deeper hole. It's pretty obvious if you put it into the wrong one because the spring just sticks out. So we're going to insert the spring, and then the next step is going to be reinstalling the shackle. So we're going to want to take the long end of the shackle and place that into the end where we placed the spring. And then we're going to just hold it shut. You can see that it's now spring loaded, and we want to just hold it closed, and then we're going to orient the lock just like this. On each side here, there is going to be a hole, one on the left and one on the right. In these holes here, this is where the ball bearings are going to lie, and you're going to want to drop both your ball bearings in now, and you're going to want to scoot one to the left and one to the right. Once they're in place, we're going to take our actuator here, and the little part that kind of looks like a slice of pizza, we're going to align to the top left and drop it straight down. But the first part is going to be to get these ball bearings in place. This can be a little bit harder to do because you got to really orient the lock in a way where gravity isn't going to allow them to just fall right out of place. And that can chronically be an issue. So we're going to just try to hold them right in place there. Let's see. And then once you get them aligned, we're going to align our actuator in the top left and drop it straight down, just like that. Now, you can do this with a screwdriver, but I have my specialized tool that has the little actuator cut out. And you just want to just push it down and start to turn the actuator. Once it is in, you'll feel it set in place, and you will feel that the lock is completely locked up like it is now. To test it, you can take your specialized tool and just turn the actuator and see that the lock opens up. Or you can turn it with your screwdriver, but since I have the tool, I will use it. And now the next step is going to be getting our lock cylinder back into the lock. The first thing I always want to do is verify that my lock cylinder is still working very well. You never know, you could have lost the key or something could have happened in the time since you've taken the lock apart. So I always just like to be safe and just make sure the key is smoothly operating the lock. Once I have verified that, I'll move on to the next step, which is installing the lock cylinder back into the lock body. So what I like to do is I like to orient it like this, and I will place the lock cylinder directly in. You want the back of the lock cylinder to interface with the actuator. You need the Bible off to the right here, so a screw nut can go right into here so it will hold it in place. So you're going to take the faceplate with the little part sticking down, and that's going to sit right in there very nicely. At this point, you're going to take your locking nut. You're going to insert that right through the faceplate. Then you're going to hold that locking nut into place, and you'll turn this around 180 degrees. And then right inside this hole here, we're going to put our Phillips screw. So we're going to insert our Phillips screw and do our best to align the nut with the screw. You're going to tighten it, and that will hold the faceplate right in place here. And then you will have a secured working lock. Now you can see that that nut's on nice and tight. This isn't going anywhere, and our lock cylinder is now secured. One last time before you lock it up, just give it a quick turn. The last thing you want to do is have it not working. And then the final step will be to lock it up. See that the lock is working like a proper padlock, and now you have disassembled and reassembled your American lock fully. Congratulations, it's a lot of fun. Not everybody knows how to take these apart, and it's a really cool skill to have. Either way, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, please subscribe. As always, thank you so much for checking this out, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much.